Well, here we are again. Once again, the month got away from me. I don't know how it's happening, but it's happening every month. Well, it is time to do our April block of the month. So what we're going to do is we are going to follow, this is that Kona 2025 block of the month series, and we are going to follow the instructions on the back of this card. And I can't give the dimensions out because they are selling this again. We don't have any at the shop, but I'm sure you could find some if you looked hard enough. But this is what we are doing, and it comes in a black and a white version. Let me go get the card. They come like this with all the months together, and if you've been watching the other ones, you already know this, but for those of you who haven't, let me explain it. This is what it is, okay? And it comes in the white background or the black background. You could do it in whatever color you wanted to do, but they showed it in black and white. And since I always seem to do a white background, for this one, I'm doing a black background, just to think outside the box, for me anyway. So what I'm doing is I'm doing it in black. Well, then I decided, well, let me go back and show you. See the piano keys around this quilt? That's those blocks right all the way around the perimeter of the quilt. Those are called piano keys. And those are using the leftover blocks from the charm packs that you don't need. To get myself an extra quilt out of this one pack of charm pack series for this kit, I am not doing the piano keys around mine. You can, and it tells you easily how to do it. It's very easy. But I am not, because if I don't do the piano keys, I can put just a simple border around there. I can do whatever kind of border I wanted. But if I don't use those extra charm packs from each month's kit, then I have a whole other quilt I can make. So I'm making it in black and white. But for this purpose, I'm showing you guys the black. And well, let's get started. What you'll get with this is you'll get the pattern, and then you'll get a charm pack for each month. So I've got a pattern for April and I've got a charm pack for April, and it clearly says April on it. So match those two up, and then we'll take the charm packs, and this is what this month's charm pack looks like. It's all grays and some tans. And we're gonna pick some of these out of here for this block. And then we're gonna have some pre-cuts that we've cut out of regular yardage. So since I'm doing black and white, I've already cut my black and white, but for this video purpose, I'm not gonna do the white, I'm gonna do the black. So I've got big squares, middle squares, and small squares. And again, I can't give you the dimensions because that's what this pattern is, and you'd have to buy the pattern. But if you have the pattern, follow along. If you don't, well, try to do it anyway. You can try it in your own sizes, whatever, but this is what we are doing. Now, this says that we're going to take 8 of these charm packs. So see what I mean when I say we're gonna have extra? Here's 42 charm squares, and all I need is 8. So all the extras will be used for the piano keys at the end, but in my case, they'll be used for a whole different quilt. So I'm gonna find some, I'm just gonna pick random colors. Let's see. I'm gonna save the blacks because I don't want to do black on black, but I use them for my white squares. And if I'm not doing a black and a white, then I could use them for the charm pack. I mean for the piano keys. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Believe it or not, this is the hardest part right here, is just picking the colors. And that's not hard at all. 5, 6, I'm going to try to get some contrasting colors, 7, and 8. So I'm going to lay these to the side with my white squares because that'll be what I use for the next one. And now I'm going to get started with these. Now that I have picked my charm squares, I have cut them down to the size that I needed. There's 8 here. I went ahead and cut my 8 for my white set as well, and I still ended up with this many left over. So it's very safe to say that I could do probably 1 or 2 or so many more quilts after these two if I didn't do the piano keys. So I am not doing piano keys, and I am doing my blocks the same way. I am just not putting that piano key border around it, and we'll see what it looks like in the end. So now let's get started. I'm only gonna pick my black set for right now, and I'm gonna take them over to the sewing machine. To get started with this set, we're gonna take one of each of these squares. These are the same size. And then we're going to take one and draw a line diagonally across one. Actually, I'm gonna do it on the black one. Take my marking pen. This is that pen that I like so much because it's got all those different colors at the top. And I'm gonna pick white because white shows up best on this black. And I'm gonna mark each one of these squares, just with a line going diagonal from one side to the next. I won't bore you by doing all of them, but I got you started. So I'll finish the rest of those in a minute. Then I'll take one of these squares that are also the same. I'll line them up. And then once I've got them lined up, I'm gonna take it to the sewing machine and I'm gonna stitch a 1/4 inch on this side and a 1/4 inch on this side. That will become our cut line in just a minute. So I'll take it to the sewing machine. Let me show you where I'm at. There you go. I'll stitch a 1/4 inch on this side of the line. And then I'm going to go ahead and chain piece all of mine. And for the sake of boring you to death of doing all this at the same time, I'm just going to show you a couple of them. So I'll do it again. And then what I would do from here is I would keep drawing the lines here, and I would keep matching these up. And I would do this step here, where I've stitched on one side. Then I'm going to turn it to the other side, and I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inch on that side of the line. And I'm just going to chain piece them all like this. And when I got to the last block, then I would cut my thread, and then I would cut them apart. So I would cut them there, and then I'll cut them on that draw line that we did. And when I do that, that gives me the 1/2 square triangles. Once I get all of these cut, then I will take them to the ironing board and iron them open like this, and I'll clip off these dog ears over here that are sticking out. See these two here? And then when I get all that done, I'll come back to you and we'll do the next step. Once you've got all these ironed and opened up and cut to the size that we need them to be, then you're gonna start pairing them up. So I've sewn a couple together to show you what I'm talking about. You're gonna have you'll have two of these, and you'll sew them like this, and they'll be just like this. And then you'll have a black one here, or a white, whatever your background is. And then you'll have another one here, so that all your black triangles are facing your black corner, or all your white triangles are facing your white corner, whatever it is, whatever color your background is. And then we're gonna sew them together, except I'm gonna switch this one so that the colors are a little bit different in it. So there you go, there's one of my blocks. So now I'm gonna sew this one to this one, just like this. And I'm gonna stitch down this side at a 1/4 inch. Everything's a 1/4 inch. Then I'll take these two, and I've already sewn them together, but I'll do the same thing. I'll stitch them at a 1/4 inch, open them up, take this one, iron it open, and then you've got them like this. Now when you're putting these together, you're gonna want these pieces here to go the different directions. So see how this seam is going this way? I want this seam to go the other way. So let me iron it the other way. And then when I put them together, I'll put them, line the seams up like that. Then I've got one seam going this way and one seam going this way. I'll make sure that that seam is lined up really good, and I'll pin it. I'll pin this side. You don't have to pin it if you don't want to. Then if I can get it open, there you go. I'll take this side and do the same thing. And then I'm going to stitch down this long side. And when I've got that seam sewn in, I end up with this piece right here. And what I'll need to do is I'll need to iron it open. And I end up with this piece right here. So it looks like half is your background and then the rest color is over here. So I'm going to do this 4 times. And when I get 4 units that look identical to this one, except for the color differences, of course, when I get 4 of these done, I'll come back and we'll do the next step. Remember when I said you want these seams to nest? You want one to go this way and one to go that way? The way I found it easier to do is to know that on the black square or my white square, whatever your background color is, this seam needs to be ironed towards that square. The other one needs to be ironed to the right. So I've ironed this one towards the black square and this one to the right. And now I'll line them up, matching the seams. And then I'm going to pin it. And then I'll continue just like I did before, pinning these. And then once I get them pinned, I'll sew down this line, and then I'll do it a couple more times and I'll come back to you. Now that you've got 4 blocks just like this, that look like this, you're going to take your last 4 remaining blocks and form them into a pinwheel. So you're going to take like that, and that, that, and that. And now you've got what looks like a pinwheel block, and we're just going to sew this together the same way we sewed these 4 together. We'll flip this on top of it, the other one, and sew it like that. Flip this one there and sew it like that, and then we'll sew these 2 rows together. So let's do that. And then we'll have that pinwheel section sewn together before we know it. Line it up. When you get done sewing those together, we'll do the same as we did a minute ago. We'll iron these open. One seam going one direction and the other going the other direction so that they nest together well. So you'll take it like that, and we'll line these up, roll them to the top where those seams meet, pin it, and then stitch down this side here. Make sure they stay lined up. Then I'll iron this open. And when I get done, I'll have a pinwheel block that looks like that. And I'll set that to the side, set these to the side. Now we'll form our block together. The pinwheel will serve as our center. We'll have 4 of these blocks. Remember, each one had a black square in it. We'll take the first black square and put it up to the left, the bottom one down to the right, this one down to the right, down to the left, and then this one up to the right. So they're going to look like that. Then we'll fill them up with these black squares that we cut in the beginning and we haven't done anything with. And that is what our block is going to be. So to make sure, your black square is going to be in the top left at the top, the bottom right at the bottom left on the left, and the top right on the right. So this forms your block. Now, all we have to do is sew these 3, these 3, these 3, and then the rows together. So we'll do this the same way we did all those other blocks. Lay one right sides together, stitch down this line here, again, we're still using a 1/4 inch. Then when I open it back up, I've got this. I'll take this one and stitch it on the other side. So now my top row is done, other than being ironed. So I might as well iron it as I go. Then I'll take this row and I'll just set it at the top. I'll do the same thing with the middle row, the same thing with this row, and then we'll sew our rows together in just a minute. When you flip this one over onto the pinwheel block, you'll want to make sure that these rows line up. So roll those seams, line them up and just roll them to the top. Pin those, and then we'll stitch down this side. When you're sewing to the black square, you don't have a seam to match up to, but this middle row you will. There, you have that. Now we'll do the same thing with this one. Flip it over here and line these rows up. Roll them to the end and then stitch down this row. Then we're going to iron this one open and we're going to sew this the same way we did the top row. Then we'll come back and sew those rows together. All right, we made it. We've got our rows. We just sew our rows together. We're going to do this the same way we do all the other ones. We'll flip this on top of this one. Get this one out of our way for right now. We'll take these seams here at the end of the first blocks and line them up. There's nothing really to line up here because it's all black, so we'll just meet the ends and pin it. Then we'll come over here, take this seam right here and this seam right here, line them up, roll them till you get to the top, pin it, and then this should work out to where it's lined up as well. And now we just take this and we stitch down this line. Now this was the bottom row, so we take the top 2 rows and sew it to the bottom row the same way. Flip it upside down. Take this seam and line them up. Roll them to the top, pin it. Same thing with this seam. These 2 middle blocks you'll want to line up. Then you can pin the ends if you want to. Just to make sure they stay lined up. Then we'll stitch it. And now, all I have to do is iron it, and then this block is done. We have now finished our block, and this is what it looks like. It's going to finish at an 18 by 18 block. So we've got that one done, but I went ahead and did the white one as well, so you can see what it looks like. And that's what it looks like. So you can see the contrast between the two is amazing. They both look great in a quilt, but look at how the difference is. The black really makes it pop, but the white is beautiful as well. And when we get all these colors together and all these different blocks, it's gonna be beautiful, and I can't wait. So I'm gonna put these to the side, and we'll keep doing our blocks each month, and when we get them done, we will put them together into the quilt. So that's all I've got for you today. We've finished the blocks. We will put them aside and get them ready for when we put the quilt top together. And until next time, we will hold these to the side. And at the end of the year, we'll put all these blocks together into 2 quilts, a white background and a black background. If you're doing the other way with just one and then the piano keys around it, then that's fine. You do it that way, and then you'll have all the extras for the piano keys around it, where I will just be doing probably a solid border color around it. I'll decide that at the end. But for now, we are done with this block for April, and we will set it to the side and get started on May before we can turn around. It'll be May. That's all. You guys have a great afternoon. Enjoy whatever it is you're doing, and well, happy quilting!